Dude, her vag is ridiculous.
You can see it, right?
That's the first thing you notice is her prancer-sizing pussy. That's the first thing I saw.
They had her prancer-sizing down Main Street.
Right, that's what she did.
I saw that on TV, too.
Yeah, she prancer-sized down Main Street, and people are yelling, nice pussy. I swear to God, because everyone's just wasted.
When I saw that video, I was thinking to myself, how much is it going to cost? How much does it cost you to get the prancer-sizing lady?
$30.
That's the exact same thing I thought. Now, I was thinking...
And how many gigs does she get a year?
Yeah. She's pretty, you know...
I bet you it's more than 5 Gs.
Maybe. She was like saying like how like her life's changed and all that, blah, 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 blah. But she's like 64 years old.
Exercising sucks. Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
We had her on. Yeah, she was a nice lady.
She's a nice older lady. Yeah, she's from Florida. But like, I thought, like, how are you going to, like, me, like, you know, I thought it was cool. I don't know where I'm going. But like, how do you make that call to the prancer-sized lady? Like, she's in her 60s. Like, hey, we're going to take you somewhere you know you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's a big party and we need you to prancer-size down Main Street.
And then all of a sudden they go, all right, it's time to prancer-size. Like, that seems real awkward. And then she does it. But people must have lost their minds if they're in a party atmosphere and you see the prancer-sizing lady. Seriously, that's all it takes. You would lose your mind, right?
Absolutely. I think that's
why
why
they prancer-size with her?
Yeah, everybody did.
But they're yelling about her pussy?
No, people off the side of the road were yelling the funniest shit, like, about her pussy. You know, like in the middle, like Vanilla Ice, everybody's having a great time, but, you know, because everyone's drunk, they were like, fuck you, Vanilla Ice. You know, like, everybody, any performer got heckled. Like, they got heckled. Like, you know, like, for me, like, I did a joke that bombed, and like, you got a little dick. And I was like, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah. You know?
But it didn't matter. Because the weed was free, the beer was free.
Dude, and it was like a corporate gig,
the
so I got paid well.
lady.
Yeah. It was...
It's amazing a corporation would do that, because corporations are so paranoid. That's ballsy by Bud Light, man, or by Budweiser.
They were saying, Bud Light was saying, as long as nobody, like, died or anything happened, it was a good event, and it was a good event.
Dumb question, probably, but what did Budweiser get out of this? Because I didn't see a lot of media coverage. I saw the one piece on TV.
Yeah. That part, I mean, I don't know.
Were they hoping that other places were going to pick it up? Or maybe they did and I just didn't see it? I don't know.
I think it was just a big promotional thing for them, just to, like, Bud Light, just, you know, everywhere. They filmed a lot. I think one of the main things they did is everything that they filmed this entire event. So I think the next commercials that you're going to see for the next year for Bud Light are all from this event.
Gotcha.
So I think maybe that's something.
Then they do it again and charge for it?
Probably.
Did they make it an event?
I don't think they need to charge.
Maybe not.
They're so big. They just want to make sure they keep the brand, you know,
is this a way to get younger
up.
people to drink it, you think? The younger people drink Bud Light? Maybe the young people don't drink Bud Light.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it was. Because the contest, you had to be between the ages of 21 and 27. You couldn't be any older. 21 to 27.
Shit.
Yeah, to win that contest, yeah.
You were in a town with just nothing but 21 to 27-year-olds?
Dude, the girls were...
white?
It was sick. Yeah, it was sick. It was,
did you,
you know what?
Did you,
I did
fuck the prancer-sizer lady?
I wanted, yeah, I wanted to fucking get lost in her camel toe. But,
what do you get? A little finger popping?
Honestly, you know what, man? I didn't do anything. I don't know. Kind of like this girl. So I didn't do anything. But I guess I could have, should have. I don't know. It was fun. I had fun.
That's cool.
I saw my manager's dick by accident. That's it.
Why?
We were staying in the same room. You know, sometimes you just get...
What's he packing?
Good. He's packing the heat. I'm happy that he's representing me.
Good amount?
Yeah.
That means he'll make good deals for you because he's not he's not too angry.
And he's confident too.
Very confident.
He's
not
a big
angry.
cock confidence when he walks into his fucking boardroom. Good for him.
He's not going to point at his dick and yell at it for being too small.
Yeah, dude.
I bet you they do it again next year and figure
100%.
out. Yeah, it becomes an annual event and just becomes bigger and bigger until, of course, someone dies. And
something will happen, right?
And then they have to shut down the whole fucking thing.
One lawsuit, you probably have to sign your life away, but
yeah. Well, I mean, kids were getting arrested. I know a bunch of kids got arrested because I mean they were okay. So the thing was, there was a 3-block radius. That's whatever USA. It's pandemonium, fun zone, do whatever the fuck you want in here. The second you cross those barriers, like the entire Colorado State Police Department is waiting for somebody to do something stupid, and then they're going to... Bud Light had buses taking you back to your hotel, so you didn't have to drive. Nobody had their cars anyway. They were flown in from somewhere else. But it was really the townspeople that were getting in the most trouble because they would get fucking loaded up, and then they live in that town, so they have cars, they have their houses right there, and the cops were just, I mean, literally...
scooping them up.
They were shooting with rubber bullets like they fucking couldn't... The cops couldn't wait. They were in riot gear. They were waiting for people to come out.
Boring ass town. They finally had something to do.
And you know, these cops are charged.
They've been jealous of the Ferguson cops for years.
God, yeah,
like it's our turn now, finally.
Dude, they were beating the shit out of people. It was great.
What was on the other side of the border? Like this amazing, like fun zone, and then what was right immediately at the end?
Dead
Just
silence.
someone's house.
Just someone's house. with a fucking pickup truck, a yoga studio, organic egg farms. They had nothing.
Oh, wow.
They had eagles. They had, hiking. That's it.
Wow.
But people were going hiking, because the party didn't stop. It was just 24 hours. And I Saturday morning, I walked with a couple of friends, just walk through these mountains, just, chill out, whatever. And then when you just see people from the town, like Bud Light, with the wristbands, just fucking drunk hiking, going into pass that say, do not cross this bear attacks. And people are like, whatever. And you're fucking stumbling in. I was like, you're going to die.
Would you go to that town now, without this event?
I would, actually. I've never seen a town. I mean, look, I don't get out of the city much, and I'm like a city kid, and nature scares the shit out of me. But to be in a town as beautiful as that, I felt like I was in The Sound of Music. That's what it looked like. It just looked like Austria.
I'll bet you that's good for tourism for them, because all those 1,000 people will say what an amazing time they had. I'll bet you it boosts
probably
people
come
coming
back.
Yeah.
Well,
probably come back to the area, whatever.
A number of people who I spoke to said that they were there for that, and they had booked a week they're still there. They paid their own money to stay in the hotel just to take part, just to be in the town, because it was so beautiful. They made that decision once they got there, so it is helping already.
What a great promotion!
Yeah,
I didn't know you were there. That's so cool.
It was cool, man. It was one of those cool.
Just thinking about it the other night, how cool is this? Scott in Pennsylvania.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Hey, basically, Bud has an advertising budget 4 times of what Miller Coors has, and they're the next largest brewer in the country. So they do this a lot. They buy a lot of ski resort towns, maybe not to this extent, but if you go to Killington, Vermont, they pump so much money in advertising during the busy season that that's all you can get is either the local brews and Bud Light. That's about all you can get on the mountain most of the time.
Right. Yeah, we know they have a huge advertising budget, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And now they're doing something kind of cool and
wow.
hip.
Yeah, it even trickles down into the small restaurants, because that's where I had the experience with it. And they can just basically buy whatever they want, and that's how they can push a lot of the other companies out of the restaurants and stuff too.
Right.
Okay.
Well, then they picked a small town, so they didn't have to, strong arm too many local
Unions
businesses
and stuff. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You're gonna be serving Bud this weekend. You understand that, sir, don't you? Thank you, Scott.
You can turn down that kind of money. Thanks, guys.
All right. Sarah from Buffalo. She's a good egg on Twitter. One of the good ones. There's not many good ones, but Sarah certainly is a good one. She just gave me a picture gallery from the event from USA Today. Did you see the huge monster truck with the 20 fucking foot wheels?
Everything. Yeah, they had a massive King Kong.
Did you see the people that... You didn't tell me about them hanging out on the roofs.
Oh, yeah, those people.
Holy fuck. There's a picture. They're just partying and hanging out on the roof.
Those must have been the residents.
Parades. Blue horses. You didn't tell me about the blue horses.
Blue horses, yeah. People will go... some of the shit...
I think Peter would have a problem with the blue horse.
Who did that?
Right.
Just white girls love blue horses.
Very good. Sorry. This isn't in Seattle. How do they paint the horses blue?
I don't know. They just they were spray painting live animals.
They probably just said, fuck it.
I don't even think that was part of the event. I think that was probably some drunk fuck that spray paint. It was like, I'm just going to paint this horse.
You got the fire breathers.
Yeah, those guys were sick.
I'm making sure I think you covered it really well, actually.
What else did they have?
I think you nailed it. A lot of blue. A lot of blue.
Everything was blue. I mean, they had oxygen tanks there because what happened, what the townspeople were a little scared of is because you were 9,000 feet above sea level, you get fucked up really quick. So people were getting drunk twice as quick as they normally would because, everything's messed up with the altitude.
Right.
So that's why they had water and oxygen wherever you go. But by the end of the weekend, I mean, they had painted those oxygen tanks blue. People were throwing oxygen tanks. There was vomit everywhere, but it was great.
I don't think Budweiser wants you to tell the people there was vomit everywhere.
Oh yeah, my bad. I didn't see that. I mean, I thought
did Budweiser hire you or was it Comedy Central?
A Bud Light, yeah.
Bud hired you?
Yeah.
Well, you got to expect that people might be puking a little bit.
No, but it was clean.
Whatever
it was a clean.
USA.
Honestly, it was clean. It was like the people who. It was the greatest event. It was awesome. I would suggest if they do it again, go.
Were they cleaning up the town as they kind of went?
They were.
They had people...
because I think they had to clean up the town. From what I heard, Bud Light had an agreement like we'll clean up your town, of course, and we'll leave it in better condition than we found it. And so they're there all week working, and like Bud Light is still there, and they're going to make the town sick, which I believe. I mean, the people who run Bud Light are like they're like my age, but they're the most responsible people I've ever met. I'm like, how are you, dude? We're the same age. How do you have your shit together?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
they were
that's
great.
What a great advertising idea.
Yeah.
I want to go to St. Louis now just to go to their breweries. Like they were telling me how cool St. Louis is, where all the Budweiser stuff, that's where all their headquarters are. And it's cool to have friends at Bud Light because they were like, look, man, anytime you come to St. Louis, we'll take you around. We'll give you the keys to the city because they pretty much own that city.
We used to be very in with Budweiser when we were on regular radio, me and Anthony. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had meetings with some, I'll say it, some of the big wigs.
Yeah.
Working on all sorts of, future projects. And then, of course, we fucked up everything. But what are you going to do? And they haven't been back since, by the way, which sucks because they loved us.
Yeah.
We moved a lot of product for them.
Dude, I feel like if you just talk to them, they seem like the type of guys, if you just talk to them and they're like, yeah, all right. Like they're the coolest they're coolest guys.
Yeah, they know what we could do for them.
Yeah.
We could sell some Budweiser. That's for sure.
Yeah, they all are pristine white men. I've never, classic white guys.
Yeah, when we fucked up, we lost all beer companies.
Yeah.
You would think one of them would have came back by now.
Nothing.
Lost Sam Adams, lost Bud.
Well, does beer do a lot of stuff on this platform anyway, really? They don't do much.
Yeah, I guess
I'm serious, do they? Just cause I don't know why.
It's too bad, We can move razors. We can move some beers.
Maybe you think they do it because people are mainly listening to this when they're driving? Is that what it is?
No.
I don't know. I guess
Okay,
it's just their philosophy, where they want and want to advertise. Yeah, I don't really hear beer ads on satellite radio in general. There might be a couple here and there, but not. I don't know. It's not a thing. Wow, what a great fucking story, man.
It's good, dude. I feel like a different guy.
Were you bummed you had to leave?
I was, yeah. I mean, nobody wanted, like when you were driving, then we had to drive 4 hours from Crested Butte back to Denver, and it was depressing. Like, you leave in the city, and it's like things are still exploding, DJ's still going on, but we got to get on our flight, and then it's just sitting there in silence now.
You left Sunday morning?
Sunday morning, yeah. Well, Sunday, I left Crested Butte Sunday morning at 9 a.m. My flight from Denver left at like 4 p.m., but it's 4 or 5 hour drive to Denver. You have to come back through the mountains because, it's another thing. These planes, Crested Butte is in such a weird spot that they said 50% of the time the planes can't land there. And they got to turn back and just have a shuttle because it's like in between the mountains. And if the weather is crazy, the pilots are like, I can't fucking land
Same
it.
thing happened when I did Aspen the last time, which was, it was actually the day before I came back. I blew off shows and came back a day early because I knew Sabbath was getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right. And I'm like, I'm not getting snowed in this shithole. And
Aspen's a shithole?
No, it's compared to Sabbath's induction, it was.
Right.
And it turned out that the day, had I left on my planned day, I would have been snowed in.
Wow.
Because a little bit of bad weather and all the flights are just stuck.
That's it. They can't land it. It's like the airport, literally, like when you land, like you're landing in between mountains. Like it was pretty nerve-wracking because you're like, oh shit. Like if this guy does one wrong thing, what was sickest thing? The pilot was a woman on our plane, and this guy. Dude, this guy got off the plane in Denver. He was like, I'm not.
He said, fuck that.
He was like, I'm not going to do it. No, he goes, no disrespect to the woman. I was like, that's the most disrespectful thing you could have ever done, you asshole.
You can't say that and say no disrespect.
A seat opened up in first class, though, so some fucking lucky fuck got to move up.
Yeah, the one thing, some of these people that won the contest are never leaving the town.
No.
Those townspeople are stuck with some winners now.
Yeah, but you see the fucking Monday morning when they try that same shit, that same wild behavior, how fast they get their fucking jaws broken.
Dude, when we walk the locals. And I'm telling you, man, I saw this twice, so I know that it was a couple people doing this because the bathroom lines were crazy, as you could imagine. I saw human shit on the outskirts. As soon as you walk past that barrier,
I work with it.
I
was like, this is full blown human shit. It had corn in it, and it was shit.
I'm gonna be sad all day now.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's everyone.
I'm kidding. That's funny. Let me go to Scott in Toronto because he went to the Coors Light Mansion or something, Mystery Mansion. So this type of thing has been going on for a while in other forms, I guess. What do you got, Scott?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years ago, they have Coors Light put on this thing called the Mystery Mansion, and so we won tickets to that, and it was in Collingwood. It's a small ski resort in Ontario, and went there. Buses had tape all over the windows; you couldn't see shit. They picked us up in Toronto and took us there, and it's just the same thing he's saying. It was just a chaos thing there, but then we got we won tickets there to go to what they call the National Mystery Mansion in Banff, Alberta. So they flew us out there, and for 4 days, it was just a gong show out there. It was basically a fuck fest and everything you want for free, free booze, free, drugs, basically. not weed and shit like that, but there was enough. They definitely weren't stopping people from selling it.
And they pick like these small resort towns because they, like you said, they don't do business in the summer.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good time to do it because they have nothing else going on.
God,
They do it.
They see the dollars, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now you got to listen.
Sorry, stop listening to your radio,
bro.
Sorry.
We're still talking to you.
Yeah.
No, but it's unbelievable, man. Like they treated us pretty well out there, and then they just bring up like all the girls. When we walked into our room in Collingwood, there was like this fucking rocket girl sitting there in a French maid's outfit, dusted, and she's like, welcome to the Mystery Mansion, all that stuff, and we ended up pulling a train on her later on, but that was.
Such a lie.
You just didn't do that.
Actually, Jim,
we've been doing this a long time. You just didn't do that. You didn't do that.
Yes, I did.
You're trying to sound cool for your friends.
Yeah, you didn't pull a
do
train,
that.
sir. You went home and jerked off like your friend.
Yeah, into a fucking Canada Dry ginger ale.
It's the only thing I've got in my life.
All right, you pulled the train.
Yeah, or if you did, it wasn't.
Sir.
Thank you for believing.
But you were last. Be honest, you were last, right?
Third.
You were on cleanup duty.
All right, Scott. Good job.
All right, take care, boys.
E-Rock just gave me a note. I forgot about this, but yeah, this did happen. Bud Light rented a whole cruise ship for the Bud Light Hotel during the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
last year.
Bud Light is honestly like being a part. I would drink. I'm telling you, I'll drink that beer. I never used to. I'll drink that beer now just from being around the festivities.
Right. They make a good quality beer.
It was great.
Obviously.
And I just want to say, too, Bud Light wasn't like, saying that it was, people were just smoking weed in that town because you can just smoke weed in that town. Bud Light had nothing to do with that. I don't want anyone
Will you
to
stop trying to gear up for next year's gig?
Yeah. Come on,
I don't
dude.
like corporate Chris.
Come on.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking, I'm still new with this. I don't want to fuck anything up
I think people
yet.
assume that the pot is, legal and Budweiser didn't have anything to actually do with it.
I'm surprised you didn't say, technically everybody did drink responsibly.
They demanded it, the pot be turned blue for the weekend, though.
Yeah.
I called for.
I
got fucking nervous because he said before you shouldn't say vomit. I got nervous.
I know.
I was just kidding.
I still don't want to fuck anything up, even though I know I'm going to fuck everything up.
It could have been food poisoning.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Sure.
Eating blue shit and a lot of other candy bombs.
How was the food?
Food was great.
Yeah.
I mean, they had every restaurant, like I said, participated, and they had everything from sushi to pizza to burgers.
That's where you want sushi in the middle of the fucking mountains. Good place for sushi.
It was actually pretty good, but anything tasted good at that point.
What the fuck?
But
scorpion rolls or something.
Yeah, fucking elk roll.
Right.
All right. Let's see. I know Eric. This guy, Eric. I just know you're lying. It's okay.
Well, if you say so. I was up there yesterday. I delivered up there to a customer, and a lot of the locals are beyond pissed. And it's part of what Chris just brought up, that when the restroom lines were full, people would just wander off into the woods or go off onto somebody's property and take a shit or take a piss. And the locals were
I would
really get pissed off about it.
Maybe.
If I lived in that town, I would take a few turds on my lawn knowing the town's going to be a lot better after Budweiser leaves.
There was also people who were camping where they weren't supposed to be, and locals were telling them, hey, you can't be here, and they weren't listening to them.
Oh, no.
Nerds.
There was quite a few. And you're saying about the shuttle buses and that were, taking people to their hotels. There's a little town about 30 miles due south of Crested Butte where a lot of people were staying, and I guess some of the cops down there had some real issues with drunken partiers. But,
revelers.
Revelers?
Yeah,
right.
the drunken revelers, yeah.
I bet you if you took a little poll, most of the townspeople were extremely cool with the whole Budweiser thing. There's always assholes wherever you go.
Yeah.
I think it was probably about 50-50 from
I doubt
people
it.
that I talked to up there yesterday.
I'll be honest with you, I doubt that stat.
In the town, the townspeople who were coming up to us who were having a great time, they said that they call the certain people in their town caves, and it's Crested Butens, whatever, against virtually everything. That's what it stands for. So they said those are the people that the media probably talk to.
Right.
Is the people who hate everything, good or bad. They're just very stuck up. But the majority of the people that we met were so happy that we took over Bud Light took over their town.
They don't want 1,000 strangers vomiting in their town.
Shitting in the woods.
Exactly. Who doesn't want that?
That area is real big for mountain biking too.
Yeah.
Mountain biking. So what? They're rolling over turds now?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, but yeah, like I say, the 4 customers that I delivered to up there yesterday, the people, like I say, some of them were cool with it, and some of them weren't. But they said that the problems were kind of what Chris just brought up too. That people just doing shit they weren't supposed to.
Way to go, Chris.
Sorry.
That's great. Way to
Come
go.
on. I really did again.
Way to go. All right, thank you, sir.
Fucking corporate Chris is ruined.
Yeah, Chris is finished.
His buddy got arrested there for pissing in public. Well,
Yeah,
you probably should be arrested for that, right?
It's the best of the week. It's the best of the week.
We got Ernie Hudson outside the studio. We should talk to him. We only got him for like 15, 20 minutes probably. From Ghostbusters.
And Ghostbusters 2 and Oz.
Right, of course. Ernie!
Hey.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Good morning.
God damn, you don't age. Ernie Hudson, he doesn't age.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man, Chris?
Hey, Chris, how you doing, Chris?
What's up, Ernie?
Pleasure, brother.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right. Promoting Ghostbusters, huh? Are you sick of talking about Ghostbusters at this point?
It's all good. I got about another 4 hours of Ghostbusters, and then it's like never again. No, it's all right.
Yeah.
All right. This is cool.
Every interview you do, though, they probably want to hear about. They just ask you questions about it. How many questions can you answer about Ghostbusters?
Well, the same questions is just sort of,
What's the one question everyone hits you with? And
is
like,
there going to be a
okay.
third Ghostbusters?
They were sort of talking about that, though, for a while.
For about 20 years, yeah.
Oh.
it never ends. It's like
20 years.
But then you said there's Harold Ramis died, so you're not going to do one without Harold.
Studio, there's money in it.
They don't care.
Come on. I mean, Harold, yeah. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
We'll miss him, but if he gets enough money, it's like, he'll come back as a ghost. He'll still be working.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess you'll fucking just learn to work without having someone there if they offer the right amount of money.
Yeah.
I saw your Instagram yesterday. You went to the firehouse.
Oh, the fire, yeah.
You just have to do it, huh?
Well,
it's in Brooklyn, I believe.
No, it's here in Manhattan.
Well, the one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's here in Manhattan. There was people there taking photos.
All day
Couldn't believe
long.
that I was a guy. I think that's him. I don't know. He's kind of. So it was fun. So.
Would you rather talk about Ghostbusters or Oz?
Oh, I don't care. I'm just happy to be talking. It's like it really doesn't matter. I've been fortunate between Oz, the Crow, Ghost. I mean, it's like it's whatever comes up.
Right.
I don't mind. I love them all. I mean, it's sort of what I've done and who I am, and it's yeah.
You're my dad's favorite Ghostbuster.
Oh, is that?
Yeah. He took me in 1989, or 1990. I forgot. Well, I was 5. 1989 Ghostbusters 2.
Wow.
Yeah. Came out, and I remember my dad screaming at the screen, "Winston, you're my guy!" And people were like, "Can you please stop yelling?"
Why do you pick Winston though?
My dad, he just loved. He just loved him. He just.
Well,
I don't know.
Winston was sort of the kind, not the nerd, not the scientist. He was just a guy.
Yeah, well, he liked you, and I don't know. For some reason, my dad, he just thinks Dan Aykroyd's a pussy. I don't know why. He always would say that, like, no matter what he did. You see this pussy and coneheads? I'm like, why do you hate Dan Aykroyd, Dad? Fucking guy. He'd always call Dan Aykroyd a pussy, so you were his guy. And he would always give me those Ecto Cooler drinks. Remember that? Those, my mother, they had a lot of sugar, and I would go off the fucking walls, and my dad would just pump me up with Ecto Cooler. And he wanted me to be you. I was like, well, I'm a way different.
Yes, but I'm sure if you were, he would have had something to say to your mother about it.
But Dan Aykroyd's a pussy is what's been. I'm going to put that on my dad's tombstone. Dan Aykroyd's a pussy. He would want me. He would love that.
You can't say that about Dan Aykroyd.
I love Dan
maybe
Aykroyd.
Ernie thinks that. Who knows? Ernie,
I love Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, when was the last time you heard from these guys?
Yeah.
Well, I saw Bill actually recently. I ran into Bill. I saw Sigourney Weaver a couple weeks ago. Annie Potts I see from time to time. When you do a lot of the social kind of premiere, whatever, you run into people. And it's always like old times. We'll get together, let's have lunch, and you never have lunch. It's like it's something that you intend to. But I love the guys. I feel like they're friends. Danny, every once in a while, I catch him selling his vodka.
Yeah, we had him in for that.
Yeah. No, he goes all over. I was in Dublin. They said, "Oh, Danny was just here with his vodka." So
he really likes his vodka.
Yeah.
We kind of want to ask a few movie questions, but he was really into his vodka.
Yeah, vodka.
It's the skull one, right?
Vodka.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, no. He,
but do you have to buy the skull version every time you want vodka?
I guess, right? Is that how it works? I don't know.
How many skulls can you have?
I can't have Dan Aykroyd stuff in my house when my father around. So,
so you actually have the same bullshit conversations with your people that we have with ours, which is like, yeah, we'll get together, and then it just never happens.
Well, I think it's just people you intend to. When you work on a movie for 3 or 4 months, sometimes a few weeks, it's such an intense environment. And you're so thrown together, and then when it's over, you got family. I got kids. I got stuff, and everybody's got stuff. And so even though you mean to, work doesn't sort of force you together, and everybody sort of go in their different ways. So I kind of expect that.
So did you reach out to one of them, like with an email or something, and you didn't hear back? You're like, they must be busy.
Every once in a while I get a call from Bill Murray just out of the blue, and at first it was kind of hard to believe it was him calling, and then I'll call him back, and he never returns my call.
Oh,
but,
no. Oh, no, you get the late night drunk call? He's like, fucking Ernie will pick up.
So but no, the guys are great, and we don't hang out. I've always had kids, man. I got to get home. I was a single dad. Then, I've always had just, family stuff. So I can't really hang that much,
Single dad, that's got to be
a
lot of work.
That was, with the first two. Now they're both here in New York, so they're all grown up now. And then, married, and I got 2 more who now are finally grown up. But, it's always, family stuff. And,
right.
And when you're on location, you're home not as much as you want to be. So,
how long were you in the Marine Corps?
About 9 weeks.
9 weeks. Why?
Yeah, about 9 weeks, and it comes up. It must be out there in the internet, because everybody comments on my military service, and I go, okay, yeah, I was there. I had I'm allergic to shellfish, and I had a drill instructor who was from Alabama. Nothing wrong with Alabama, but this guy was an idiot. And he was really an idiot. He couldn't believe anybody was allergic to something as small as shrimp. So he forced me to eat the shrimp, and I had this awful asthma attack.
Jesus.
And they rushed me to the hospital. And on the way to the hospital, the guy the medico, he said, man, you got that asthma, you can get out of here, That was in 1964 when Vietnam was just starting.
Right.
And I said, I ain't going to send you to Vietnam with asthma, man. So I had asthma after that,
Can you imagine if they tried to make you eat shellfish today in the military? Like,
no.
That's such a 1960s story. That would never happen now.
Oh, in 1964, the Marine Corps basic training was just insane. It was crazy. In South Carolina, the training camp there, the guy marched his entire platoon out into the swamps, and like 40 people drowned or something. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
So it's changed now. I'm sure it's a different. But in 1964, it was pretty intense.
Why'd you want to join?
I got out. The way?
Why'd you want to join?
Because I wanted to get out of the little town I was born in. I want to meet women. I wanted to travel the world. It was the way out.
What town?
Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Oh, there's not a lot of girls there?
No. There are girls, but I don't know if you want to date them. No.
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
That's all right. A lot of pigs.
When you're in the small town, man, you want to get away. I got no money. I can't, so the military was the way to go. But nobody mentioned a war. Vietnam was not in the news. I heard about Vietnam when I stepped off the plane there at basic training. I'm like, whoa, Vietnam and a war. I didn't sign up for all that,
What a lousy time to join the Marine Corps as Vietnam is happening. Jesus.
Vietnam was just becoming public about it, and the whole platoon, everybody went to Vietnam except me.
Is that why you kind of, when they said you have asthma, is that why you kind of took the out and said, yeah, let me get out of here?
No, it actually wasn't a choice. They don't really give you a choice. Yeah. They kind of waited around and kind of saw how for about 4 weeks, just about the time I gave up that I'd ever get out, and then suddenly the guy says, he calls me in the office, the commander, and says, we can't all, have the things we want, our dreams. Some of us just aren't able to do it. And he gave me this long speech. I'm like, what is that talking about? And he finally says, I'm sorry, son, but we're going to have to discharge you. And I knew that if I got excited the way I was feeling at that moment, he'd change his mind. Yeah. So I'm like, I sat there staring at him, and he's staring at me. And the tears start to sort of well up because I'm holding it all in. Right. And
because you're having an asthma attack.
Yeah, I was having an asthma attack.
And that's when you realize you can act.
That's why I decided to be an actor, So, but I got out, and I was suddenly back home. And
so what did you do back home?
I got back home, and I was, seeing a girl who was having difficult family situation. She didn't get along with her mom. Mom made her wash dishes. And she was upset because it wasn't her turn to wash dishes. And so I said, well, you know, you don't have to take this. I mean, you know, we can get married or something.
But wasn't that an indicator to you that, like, the woman who hates housework, like, you probably shouldn't, is not the one you should?
Yeah, you would think. But I felt, you know,
Especially
I felt like I could, you know, I'm back home. I'm a man. I need a wife. You're whatever. We can get married. And I don't think I really realized what I was saying. And she said, okay. And so the next day I said, you know about that marriage thing? And she was saying, no, I really want to.
And here came the tears again.
But she didn't let me out. I got a wrinkle with it. I couldn't get out of that. So I got married, and we had a couple kids, and then
when did you realize it was not?
About 2 days after we got married, I was like,
for real?
Yeah.
Damn.
And how long? No, actually, we were married for legally for about 10 years, and it was about a year. You know, so is this working for you? Because she says, no, I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, but you cry a lot. You know, I mean, you don't seem happy.
Yeah. Oh, no, she was probably bipolar or something they didn't even know existed in 1964.
It's very hard. You know, a lot of things that, but, you know, it was great for me because we sort of figured out how to work together to sort of put things together. And we kind of would plan things, dream things, and we can make them. She went from being in the 9th grade when we got married to getting her PhD.
Oh, wow. How old was she when you got married?
She was just turning 16, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she had polio. She had polio as a kid, and she didn't start school until...
You are a fucking saint.
Wow.
You know,
you're the nicest guy I've ever met.
You can't break up with someone with polio.
I know. My mom's boyfriend has polio.
It was very difficult. It was actually, it was very hard. But, and no, disrespect to her, but I think she finally was doing really well, and I was this poor actor. So she kind of ended it, which was like, thank God, because I never had the heart to say, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So things always work out.
But you lasted 9 years knowing that you really weren't in love.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to.
Break up with someone with polio.
How do you say to somebody, you know? No, it wasn't the polio.
Listen, honey, more bad news.
Well, I've been with my wife now 38 years, and I was like, well, you know, no, the marriage is whatever now. But I'm not good at that. You know, I have a friend who's been married 5 times. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you say to somebody, you know, we're going to be together forever, and let's marry, and then 2 years later you go, you know what? I don't think so. And I know that's probably you should be happy, but I just don't know how people do that. I don't understand that.
So you stayed with someone for 9 years just because you didn't have you didn't know how to say it?
Well, I came from a very religious background, and in that community, when you commit, that's it. It's you, God, and her, and God doesn't let you out. So
that's rough.
You just
hope they die, basically.
Yeah.
So you can get out of polio.
They hate you enough to say we shouldn't do this. So I hope they agree that it's, you know.
And how did the acting come about?
We had this plan to go to Detroit, go to barber school, and then go to Alaska, where they were paying barbers $15,000 a year, which seemed like a lot of money in 1964. So we went to Detroit, and she started barber school and cut herself with a razor kind of badly, and then
she told you it was an accident, but she was just unhappy.
Maybe she was unhappy too. We're both miserable.
Why were you in the tub when it happened? Well, you know,
she didn't have the heart to tell me. So then we decided to go to college, and I got in college. You know.
Shit.
And we both got in college, and that's when I discovered acting. And
you were going to be a barber in Alaska. Like what a weird. Like, it's amazing what would have happened.
It was a great plan. It was a great plan because we're both going to be barbers. We could both make $15,000. We could live out of one $15,000, save the other $15,000, come back in like 4 or 5 years, and we'd have all this money, and then we could buy a house.
Okay, financially it makes sense, but just Alaska, what a climate change, and especially in the '64. I mean, who the fuck went to Alaska?
I don't think you have to be a good barber in Alaska.
No, not at all. Right? No one wears hats.
You know, and if you want to travel the world, I mean, Alaska's a long way from where I was.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
so you almost went to Vietnam, and you almost went to Alaska, and instead just went to college.
I went to college, and then I ended up traveling a lot.
You know, you just wind up in L.A.?
Well, I finished college at Wayne State in Detroit. Then I got a scholarship to Yale. I went to Yale, came down to New York, and then the marriage, and I had my boys, I had my 2 sons, and then I went to L.A. because my brother's in L.A., and it was a lot easier to kind of put things together, having the support, having him there, his family.
What was your first acting job?
The first acting job on stage was a play called How the Snake Got His Rattles, and I played God. That might have had something to do with why I loved it so much. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great first one to get.
But the first movie was Leadbelly, Gordon Parks, who directed Shaft and some really great movies.
Leadbelly, it wasn't about the singer.
It was about the singer.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, it was,
wow.
Honey Leadbetter. Yeah, it was it is a very, very good film.
Is there any other footage of him? There's only one piece of footage of him that exists that's actually film of him singing. I imagine you did research for it, or maybe you didn't.
Yeah, well, I didn't play Leadbelly, so
right.
Roger Mosley did. Yeah, I played a character named Archie McComb, who was sort of his rival, and then I've always worked. I started working, and
good for you.
I've been very fortunate.
How did Ghostbusters come about?
I did a movie called Space Hunter with Ivan Wright. Well, it was originally called Adventures in the Creep Zone, that a guy named John LaFleur was directing, producing, writing, and doing everything. And then he was fired, which I didn't realize you could get fired if you did all that. But Columbia brought in Ivan Reitman to produce it, and Harold Ramis was one of the writers. This was the year before Ghostbusters. And but it was a different character. The character was sort of bigger than life. My head was shaved. My voice was really lower, and it was just sort of dynamic kind of guy. And I saw Ivan maybe about a year later in an elevator, and he said, I'm doing this movie with Danny and Bill. I didn't know who Danny and Bill was, but he said, but there's nothing in it for you. And I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that. And then I found out there was this character, Winston, that was this great role, but he felt I was all wrong for it. And I couldn't get an interview. So about 3 months went by, and I'm talking to my agent, I'm talking to everybody I can to get in this meeting. And finally I got an interview and went in the room, and I made him laugh. And after about 10 interviews, I mean, it wasn't just, like, okay, we love you. It went through some changes, but I finally got the role.
Wait, did you have to audition or just interview?
Oh, no, I auditioned.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did, the first interview was on tape. Then they said, we want you to come back because we want to put you on tape. I'm like, well, there was a camera there. Okay, so I went back. Yeah. And they said, we want you to come back because you want to do a screen test. So it just went on and on and on. And, yeah, so, I really had to fight for it.
But see, that's another story. Like, sometimes guys have these stories of, like, they fought for a role, and, like, I've just never had that in my career. There's never been an amazing story. What happened? I auditioned, and I never heard from them.
They said no, and that was it.
Exactly. They said, we're not interested at all.
Yeah, well, that happens a lot. But what you do
it happens always to me.
Well, you always try to find a way around, especially if you believe in a part. I did Hannah Rocks the Cradle, and the guy was mentally disabled, and they just could not believe that I could sell this character. So they kind of refused to see me. But, you find a way.
So how did you sell mentally disabled?
I did a lot of research, and I went in, and also I found out they had been seeing a lot of people who actually were mentally disabled. Yeah. And I saw a tape. They finally got a guy who was amazing, and he was, mentally disabled. And but then when they asked him to stand up and read, he said no. And then that's where they sort of decided to get an actor.
Yeah.
So,
there's gonna be problems.
But I got in, and so was some other issues. But finally, but I researched the part a lot.
Did you do anything like what's something you did that no one would have thought to do? Like a lot of times when you do a great piece of character work, there's something you find that other actors wouldn't have found.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you when you're researching, you're looking for things, and things you kind of go. I don't know. You just incorporate it. I think when you read a script, you just get it. It's something different, something just sort of, and you kind of go with it. Because there's two processes. It's the auditioning, getting the job, and then that's what you do when you get the job, and they're very, very different. Very different.
Yeah, because what if the casting director thinks that they want something, and then the fucking director's like, what are you doing? This is not what we want at all.
Oh, yeah, no. That sometimes you think you have the part, and somebody in the room says no. And if there's 20 people in the room, if one person says, I don't think so, then everybody else will back up because they don't want to be the one responsible for hiring you, and it doesn't work.
Jesus.
Right, it's like in Casino, where they're not sure if they should kill everyone. They're all, he's a good guy, he's a stand-up guy, and then Rimmer goes, might take a chance. And they're all like, fuck it.
Everybody's afraid to be that guy who, says...
Sticks their neck out, and it's a shitty move.
Yeah, so...
Have you ever gotten hired then fired for a gig?
I've never been fired. Knock on wood. Damn, any wood around here?
No wood.
No, I've never been
one.
fired. No, but I've been on shows where people were fired. I've been on shows where people were fired and then weren't told they were fired, and then show up and be escorted off by security. I mean, I've seen some awful, just thoughtless things.
What show was that? That someone showed up and didn't know they were
I won't
fired?
mention the actor's name because I'm sure it'll be embarrassing. But I was doing a pilot called High Cliff Manor. We did the series. We had about 8 shows.
Okay. Who else was on that?
who
And
was supposed to be in that?
Who was in episode? Who was in the pilot?
Was in it. Who was it? Shelley Fabre. Stephen McCaddy was in it.
Who thought they were going to be in it?
And there was this actor who was this amazing actor. He was a big star, a big sort of Western star. But this was a situation comedy. But they wanted this guy because he had these really intense blue eyes, and he was perfect, and they were just in love with this guy. So they waited for him. We'd rehearsed about 2 weeks, and finally he came in, and it was like this big thing. It was like everybody kind of came out to greet him. And then when he started to read the first 3 lines, you knew that it wasn't going to work. Because he didn't understand comedy. He was a Western star.
Yeah,
and so we went about 3-4 days. And,
Western star with blue eyes.
He had blue eyes, but it just didn't work. And so finally they came to us and they said, you know what, this is not going to work. We're going to have to let him go. Mm-hmm. We have another actor who's wonderful, and we're going to bring him in. And so so you won't be surprised tomorrow when you come in. We're going to have a different guy here. So we go back the next morning, and he shows up, and it's like, hey, I'm ready to work, and another guy doing this thing.
Was it Western westerns or spaghetti westerns?
Well, I don't want to go too.
Come on. So this guy shows up to act, and nobody tells him.
And everybody's awkward. But not only does nobody tell him, but everybody's embarrassed.
Wow.
So he kind of stands around. And he's like, "What's going on? Who's And so then they just have security come in.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So they sort of said, "Can you come with us, sir?"
Oh shit!
And he's like, "What?"
So the director didn't even tell him. The director didn't even tell him.
No, nobody told him.
Oh my! But I mean, in that moment, the director wouldn't say, "Look, man, they replaced you."
Like, oh, hey, hi, Stephen. Excuse me a second.
Stephen.
Did you say Stephen?
Oh yeah. We got it.
Thankfully. No, that was the guy who actually replaced him. So that wasn't.
Yeah.
Him.
Okay.
That wasn't his.
Wow.
But now the search begins.
Yeah. So
Google this.
Yes.
Got him.
Yeah. Find out when that show. Find out when that show was done, and then look for suicides a week around. Yeah. Wow, that's
cutting
terrible.
yourself with the razor again.
It's annoying that the director didn't tell him. That the director didn't just say, "Look, man, this is what we."
People never tell you in Hollywood.
They don't.
The truth. Because they're afraid that if they tell you the truth and then you turn out being a big star, then you're going to hate them and they'll never get a job. So nobody will ever tell you why you work, and nobody will ever tell you why you don't work.
My manager will always tell me he's gullible. He believes that people feel that we're big fans. And it's like they're big fans if they use you. If they don't use you, they're not big fans. But it's like he buys this line of shit every time, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah. No, people, I was working with, God, I can't think of the actor's name, but he wouldn't sign autographs. And I said, well, why won't you sign autographs? And he said, because, they hate you. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, give them 5 minutes. And sure enough, I see fans say, oh, man, I just love you, Ernie. Oh, you're my favorite actor. 5 minutes later, it's like, yeah, I saw that movie. You really kind of sucked in that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You know what? You don't look too good, man. You put on a lot of weight. All of the other stuff begins to come out. So you sort of want to get in and out.
Yeah.
and say thank you and move on. But if you hang long enough, you get all the negative stuff.
Yeah, maybe this, but that doesn't mean that they hate you, though. I don't think. Sometimes they just have sometimes as a performer, they have a complete view of you. So they love some of what you've done, and they don't like some of what you've done. And just because they like me as a performer, like you, doesn't mean that they like every single thing we ever did.
Well, that's true, but I don't want to hear it when I'm on the street. I want to hear that I gained weight. That I sucked.
I actually felt you look good.
Yeah, you look great.
Well, you look great.
What am I going to say?
Oh my God!
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Funny.
Ernie, we got to wrap up, unfortunately, but a couple things. We might have like 2 or 3 minutes. When did you know Ghostbusters was going to be, a hit?
I think when I read the script, it was an amazing script. I met the guys, and they were so funny. We laughed a lot on the show, so I knew it was going to be a big hit. That wasn't a question. What I was surprised at, it has sustained itself. After 10 years, people were still making their jumpsuits, and 20 years later, they were turning their cars into ectomobiles and making their backpacks. 30 years later, I was in Brussels, and 50 guys show up. There's no place that I travel. I was just in Ireland, in Hawaii. There's no place when people find out I'm going to be there that somebody won't show up with their Ghostbuster gear. And that's pretty... Ghostbuster chapters in every major city in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Europe. It's
Mexico
it's amazing.
too? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
You still get a little taste from the franchise?
I get nothing.
You don't get any more envelopes?
Fans saying how much they love me. But I can't listen more than 5 minutes. That's the problem. So
yeah, you know that it's running when they're like Ghostbusters, but that one, you're like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
But Highcliffe Manor sucked.
Yeah, exactly. Did they ever? You ever get confused with any other actors?
Yeah, every black actor that ever worked.
Oh, really?
Hey, Arsenio's like
Arsenio.
Meshack Taylor, Eddie Murphy. I was
Eddie Murphy.
I was here in New York, and in this little group of folk thought I was Eddie Murphy, and I kept saying I'm not because people think you're lying.
You look nothing like Eddie Murphy.
Zero.
I go out and say, man,
he's
Stan
much slimmer.
Shaw is an actor named Stan Shaw. Yeah, it's like he's a black guy. I look like a black guy.
Who's Stan Shaw?
Stan Shaw, he did Fried Green Tomatoes. Wonderful actor. He did a lot of stuff.
Okay. We got one phone call from Dave in Louisiana. Hold on a second. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was in. Yes.
Somebody's got the balls to fire Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen got fired?
No, they wish they had Steve McQueen. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't fire Steve McQueen. Oh, Stan Shaw was in. Was he in Harlem Nights?
He was in Harlem
Nights,
and
he was also in The Great Santini.
He was also in The Great Santini.
He played Schumer in The Great Santini.
Right. Yeah, he's a wonderful actor. And I was talking to him one day, and a guy walked up and started complimenting him on the Hand that Rocks the Cradle that I did. But he was talking to Stan. So I don't think we look alike, but somehow there's something about him that maybe reminds people.
The shape of the face. You don't resemble each other right in the face, but the shape of the face. There's
maybe
something.
So. Maybe so. And
Eddie
he's
Murphy's
a black guy.
that's it. Yeah, but Eddie Murphy's a black guy too, and you look nothing like. I never would confuse you for Eddie Murphy.
Well, the first prototype for the Winston toy kind of looked more like Eddie Murphy than me, but I think they changed it.
I got that toy.
Yeah.
You do. You were the biggest piece. I mean, Ghostbusters and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is my whole childhood. So it's like you're a piece of my childhood just talking to me. It's fucking insane. My mind is blown.
It's funny. 30 years. Dude,
that's how old I am. 30.
Yeah.
What did your dad do to the Dan Aykroyd toy?
He probably took a shit on it. My dad, I don't know what his problem. He loves you, and I mean, couldn't hate Dan Aykroyd more than any. Wow. I don't know why. Constantly calls. I guarantee if you call my dad right now, I'd be like, "What's up?" He'd be like, "Yeah." I'd be like, "I'm with Winston." He'd be like, "Did you talk about Aykroyd? That pussy?" For no reason. He hated Coneheads. He walked out. He took me. My mother made me take him to see Coneheads, and he walked out. He's like, I can't deal with this guy.
Wow, I wonder why.
I don't know. There's something that maybe my dad he probably made a bet. The Aykroyd probably placed a bet through my dad, didn't pay up the money, and now he hates him. That's probably what it is.
You think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Maybe your father invested heavy in the fucking Blues Brothers 2. Yeah. When Aykroyd said no,
tanked.
Lucy died. Yeah. Thank you, Ernie.
Well, guys, thank you.
Thanks,
man.
Ernie.
Thank you.
Come back.
Fun.
Come back and see us, all right?
Thank you. I will.
Ernie Hudson, everyone.
It's the best of the week. It's the best of the week.
How have you been, Jeffrey?
I've been great.
Yeah?
I just came up in the elevator with 90,000 people. I'm sorry I'm late.
Why? What's going on in the elevators
Well,
today?
everybody's going to work.
Oh, right,
NBC is in this building now, and since they came in, there's so much more activity.
You were here. Yeah. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. Good to see you.
You've had work.
Oh, yeah. I'm here every day. Oh, for my face, yes, I have.
Lift, that's nice.
You had work done?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Have you guys seen the show?
No,
That's what I want to do.
Is
Who
that
did
bad?
it?
No, but no.
Joan
Anyway,
Rivers,
let's talk.
Surgeon?
Yeah, we got to talk to Jeffrey about his new show. I want to know all about it, Jeffrey.
What's the name of the show?
The name of the show is Transparent, and we're going to push a button, and it's going to go all over the United States and England, and it's a very, very good show. Amazon, and I think people are really going to like it. I've just been getting a lot of comments this morning, just people who've actually seen the pilot, and 10 episodes.
Right.
Binge watching. The name of the show is Transparent.
Right.
Which I didn't get until the second week of filming, but it's a trans parent. I play Maura Pfefferman, I would say she was the patriarch of the family, and now she is transitioning into the matriarch of the family, created by Jill Soloway, who ran 6 Feet Under and the United States of Tara, and truly one of the great, great geniuses. And we have Gabby Hoffman, Amy Landecker. My wife is Judith Light.
Nice.
And Jay Duplass, and it's a wonderful show. I urge you to see it.
Where can
I'm very
we see
proud
it?
of it. September 26th on Amazon.
So playing, I guess, a transsexual making the transition, or...
What's so funny, I was looking at you, and I went, how is she doing that?
Yes, you're looking at Nikki.
So funny.
It happens every time.
Yeah.
So did you do any, research? Did you...
Yes, I had great... look, this is, I don't know if you saw the cover of New York Magazine.
I did not.
No. You know that there is a New York Magazine?
Oh, I'm a big fan. I read it all the time.
Yeah.
I hate the covers. I have them removed.
Oh. And so, it's something that's in the zeitgeist now. That's my telephone. It's something in the zeitgeist now. And what was the question?
About, did you do any research? Did you talk to any transsexuals?
I talked to the great Jenny Boylan, who's a transsexual. She was my transgender, and she's one of my consultants. And Zachary Drucker, Reese Ernst, and yes, I had great and loving care. This is a Jennifer Boylan went on record saying the other day, this is the first time she's seen herself represented on screen in a faithful and realistic way.
Do you look good as a woman?
I'm going to take issue with that. I'm going to tell you why. People don't say to me, when I played Hank Kingsley, did you look good? Or did you look good as Oscar?
The answer is a yes.
Yeah, you looked wonderful.
I think I captured the spirit of her and the soul of her. Look. It's about what happens in a family when somebody makes a drastic change. And anybody who's ever been to Passover or been to Thanksgiving knows about this one. Uncle Harry has the secret, and Uncle Harry finally lets loose on it. And what happens when somebody makes a change, and a drastic change? And it's a faithful and loving a thing. It's not sensational, and it's done in a realistic way. I think it is the finest role I've had in my life.
Wow.
So that really was a bad question.
It was a shitty question. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's a common question. I mean,
it's common, but
the
it's so
intentions
common.
are good. He's not, he's a sweet guy.
No, he's not a sweet guy.
He is a sweet guy.
If he was sweet, he wouldn't be making the gestures he's making to me right now.
No, I know that, but he's
like Opie going to the change without Anthony.
Opie's doing the fist into the mouth thing, like blowjob motion.
Right, Opie? How does it feel without Anthony?
This brings up a great question. Is that I am asked? This is nothing compared to what I'm asked. But there's a lot of phobia. There's a lot of strange questions that I get, and I'm really proud of Maura. I really love her. I think that she's. I think I do. Look, this is a community. It needs light and love and positive energy shown on it. This is an important day today.
911.
We need the end of prejudice, the end of that horse shit.
It'll never be the end of prejudice.
What was there?
Likes their own.
Sandy, hold
on, man.
Was there anything you were going to do that would have been like that a transsexual would have said is like, whoa, that's like a hacky portrayal? Like, is there anything that you thought was appropriate that she went, no, that's actually not the way it is?
Here's the deal. I had great advice. I was totally aware of I was throw up nervous. Not nervous, throw up nervous.
Wow.
And I'm so sensitive to this area, and I realized that every move I was making has ramifications and echoes, and this is important to me. By the way, this thing is very, very funny, and I'm only 1/5 of this. This is a very sexy family. It's a very funny show. It's funny where it should be sad, and it's sad where it should be funny. I don't think you will ever see anything like this on TV.
Well, Judith Light is a great actress.
She's a great actress, as
Wonderful
is Amy
actress.
Landecker and Gabby Hoffman and Jay Duplass. And we have Brad Whitford plays my friend Bradley Whitford, and Carrie Brownstein from Portland.
What did you learn about transgenders that you didn't know before? Like, by having a consultant, you must have learned something that you had a misconception about.
I actually, I would say what I understood intellectually, but what I probably got more is the misinformation that's out there and the phobia. And I found it with people that I knew. I mean, people will come up and say, "What? You're doing that? Really? You're doing that?" And I would say, "What are you talking about?" And there were, "Yeah, you're doing that? Oh, and Amazon? Do they pay you money? Do they pay you in Kindles?
Do they? Do they pay you money?
They pay me very, very.
But a
well.
lot of shows are now going that route. Netflix,
Yes.
Because
Amazon,
it's not a route. It's in the zeitgeist.
Right.
It's here. It has been here. The revolution is here.
Right.
This is
Like
a
NBC,
civil
though.
rights. This is a civil
NBC.
rights
Right.
movement. You know, I don't mean to take this way. I think I got rude to you, and I was screwing around.
But I thought I asked a good question. He asked a bad question. I thought I asked a good
Can I
one.
defend myself?
I'd like a compliment.
Don't even defend
I
yourself.
want to defend myself.
No, because your days
play,
here at Sirius Radio are done.
well, pretty much.
I am taking over.
You're pretty much right.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I know you're negotiating with. How is that going with that other network you're negotiating
Oh,
with?
thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's going quite well.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Jeff.
good.
No, I want to
just
explain
about-
because I don't want you to think I actually asked a shitty question. If I was going to...
You asked a question that I get all the time.
Thank you. Well, but besides
and that's to the purpose. I love your question because that's what I get, and that's the area that's around it.
But who asked a good question? Let's be honest. Who asked a good
well,
question
man.
about what you learned about
Nikki Glaser.
Do you have a question?
No, she's transgender. She understands everything.
She's been nodding the whole time. She gets it.
She's used to that.
I get it.
I know you do.
Well,
so why don't you speak?
I remember when.
If you get it.
Well,
She
because
sits here nodding.
all the
She
men
got
are here
everything.
and
I
you're
looked into
sexist.
her eyes, and she got everything I was saying, but she doesn't say anything.
You're
Speak.
saying it all.
Yeah.
I don't need to say. I was going to say Dustin Hoffman when he
That's exactly
dressed up
right.
as Tootsie.
Yeah.
Said, "Make me prettier. I'm not prettier
Thank
now."
you.
Right.
And
Thank
they were
you.
like, "We can't." And
Right.
he cried because he felt he couldn't be beautiful, and he more beautiful, and he realized the plight of being a woman and
That's right.
not feeling beautiful enough.
There it is. And
I'm
that's
raising
the
my
one-
hand,
but
Jeffrey.
that's it. But that's it.
Calling me.
She's
Calling
right
me.
on it. She's right
But
on
they have
it.
shots,
I'll call
too,
on you.
a lot
Put
of
your
these
hand down.
transsexuals.
Well,
They have a-
you know,
It's an excellent point.
I have 4 kids, and we
Call
do
me.
that.
Please, please, please.
Opie wants to defend himself. Let him defend himself.
Can I just say something to this?
Sure
Because
you
I
can.
just happened to see that again.
Yeah.
Because somebody sent me that, and it's exactly right. And you people, you know, people ask you about underwear, and they ask you about hose and stockings, and you go, "Are you serious?" And I was just talking to somebody this morning, and just said, "It's really." He got it. He said, "It's really about the spirit, isn't it?" I said, "That's it. It's about the soul."
So
Hold on.
basically asking
Hold
you-
on, hold on. You're going to go funny, and I don't want you to go
No,
funny.
I would never
cool.
go funny. Believe me, it's
Yeah, but
not
yeah.
happened much in my career.
I understand. I listen to this show.
Point to me. I won't go funny, obviously.
All right, go.
Go dirty.
Go.
man.
So
Don't
do you
fucking-
understand what I'm saying to you?
Go dirty.
So
My
you
turn?
know, listen, here's the deal.
My turn.
No, shut
Can you
up.
curse on Amazon?
Shut up. I'm a guest.
That's right, you are. Let Jeffrey talk.
I am a guest.
I was
And
yelling
then
at you.
I'll call on you.
Everyone's yelling at Jeffrey.
You be,
Because I was going to bring ego into this. The reason I said that
on Amazon?
because
how spoiled you
shit,
are.
I almost got in and then
Go
you
ahead.
interrupted.
Go.
If I was going to play a woman, my ego would take over, and I would want to look like a good-looking woman. That's
You
why
do
I asked
already.
that question.
But
Thank you.
Now look.
I can see
I'm
you as a
playing
woman.
Mora.
But we
Right.
can't.
All right?
Right.
And I'm 70 years old.
Right.
So she's not a. I mean, the word. I don't mean to be politically incorrect. The word "babe" is out.
No, she's an older woman. You're right. I apologize.
And
So he plays a...
hold on. Let me talk.
Sandy,
Please, push
oh my
her.
God! Hold on a second.
Bully.
She has a bad knee. I have a bad knee. She has reading glasses. I have you get it?
Right.
She has arthritis in her right shoulder. You understand? She's a person. She had a secret for 50 years from her family.
Right.
She was born inside the wrong body, and she said, at the age of 60, she said, "Oh, F it. I've got to make a break for my freedom.
Right.
I got to make a break. My family's going to have to follow along." And that's brave. And there are a lot of people like that.
Right.
And by the way, and she's funny, and she's discovered herself. And, I go around and I lecture to colleges, and I talk. I'm going next week. I just came back from, Las Cruces. I'm going to Iowa. I talk to kids, and I talk to them. I say, follow your dreams.
Sure.
Follow your your concept. Most kids are giving up their dreams now. This is a woman who's found herself and is following her dreams. So at least she's a role model, and I'm very proud of her. Yeah, go ahead.
How far did you go with the role? Did you wear undergarments and stuff?
See, there you go again. That's your second question.